Alrighty then. Hello everyone. Welcome to our second community update this year. I'm Adrian, solution engineer at Saleor. With me, Anya.
Yes, I'm Anya, head of product from Saleor. Hello.
We have quite a lot on our plate today, so we'll start by showing you a new tool for local development, kind of next level compared to what we have right now. Then we'll move on to some of the product updates and the long-awaited 3.21 among that. Then we'll talk about how decisions are made here at Saleor, where can you find them. We'll go through a new segment, which is community highlights, where we show things that you've done. And then we'll move into a bit of history, lesson walk down the memory lane with our CDO, Patrice. Maybe this will give you like a nice perspective on where Saleor is today, and we'll as usual end with a Q&A, but yeah, at any time during the stream feel free to ask questions. We'll try to come back to them whenever possible. So thank you very much, Mario. You did great with those difficult conditions. So yeah, we'll continue with the product update, which hopefully we'll have more luck with, because I'm going to bring Sławek to the podium. So Sławek, I'll invite you here. And if you were here last time, month ago, Sławek showed us how Saleor dashboard changes, how it displays apps and plugins and all of that, and now called altogether extensions. So Sławek is here with us to show the next iteration of that. Hopefully show, not just tell.
Yes, exactly. Hello, everyone. So I'd like to give you an update on two initiatives. First one is the initiative that Adrian already mentioned. So like a live demo of second milestone of extension unification initiative. And second one is just a brief mention of Saleor Academy workshop. But I'd like to start from the first one, so the extensions unification initiative. So let me share my screen, and I hope that everyone can see it, but let's check.
I can see your screen.
Okay.
Chat, how are you doing with Sławek's screen? All right. Let's go.
Great.
So Sławek, walk us through.
Happy to see it. All right. So last time I give you a sneak peek of the first milestone, which was explore extensions page. So it's been in production for past several weeks already. And this view focuses on this milestone. The first milestone focused on improving the overall experience of exploring and installing Saleor extensions. Second milestone focuses on increasing the experience of the extensions that are already installed, so that to improve management and monitoring them. So this is the new view, installed extensions. As you can see, we already have two apps installed for demo purposes to show you its full capabilities. So I have two apps installed, one with errors, webhook errors, and this is the feature that I also showcased last time. This view obviously supports it. So once you click see logs, you see that we are redirected to apps webhooks section when we can check the details of the error. So yeah, this workflow states nothing changed in this workflow. Let's come back to the installed extensions. As you can see, we also display information when the app is disabled. So we can enable it from the app's details. So let's do it. And let's get back to the installed extension page. And as you can see, the notification disappeared as expected. So let me maybe show you the installation workflow. Let's maybe install Avatax app. As you can see, Avatax app has been successfully installed and is displayed on the new view. Obviously, new view supports search. So and just let's check if the newly installed app
So we
works
just have a
Yep.
nice remark from Pitcast22. So if I understand you correctly, you're saying that it would be nice to have the installed apps listed under the extension sidebar. So right next, right next to Explore, we would have icons directly to the apps. Am I getting this right? I think that's pretty cool idea.
Yeah, really cool idea. And we yes, so we plan to support that. So we plan to add a mounting point to the navigation in the extensions section, so that you can like create a shortcut for the most used apps, so that they are easily accessible. If you have any follow-up questions, then just all right, cool. So that's it. When it comes to the Milestone 2, it's already in production in Saleor Cloud since yesterday, I think, and also it has been released in the open source, so it's ready for you to play around. Obviously, we put it behind a feature flag, so if necessary, you can return to the old UI. But I really encourage you to play around with a new one. We really focused on improving the overall experience of working with Saleor extensions. What's left is Milestone 3, which focuses on adding new wizard for installing custom apps and webhooks. And within Milestone 3, we also plan to include support for plugins in these two new views.
All right, so we'll kind of combine everything together, both the creation of apps and the installing of apps and extensions, so plugins and apps. Let me just, because I'm not sure if I understand the question from Yannick, why is there no improvement to the apps extensions taking custom internal integrations into account? I generated a custom marketplace JSON. So sorry, I don't think I follow.
Yeah,
right.
I would maybe, Yannick, if you can, could you put this into ideas, and then after the stream we can follow on this, because it's an interesting topic. Because I don't think that we have many. I mean, I didn't hear much about other cases with custom marketplace / extension station. So it would be interesting to incorporate that and to see if we can actually address it. It would be quite cool.
Okay, I think I finally get it. Yeah, thanks for that suggestion. As you can see, we are trying to walk through this view. So maybe we can think about one extra iteration to cover that if that's a universal problem. So Sławek, as I know, you have
So I would need to spend some time with Yannick's case because right now I'm not sure if I follow. So I hope that maybe part of it will be addressed by this third milestone where we provide an easier way of installing custom extensions and creation of manual webhooks. But we'll see. If not, then yeah, let's discuss it further.
all right. Because plugins are currently here. So there are plugins that work just fine. There are plans to replace them with apps at some point, but we don't want to create the impression that there is something wrong with apps. They are with plugins. Sorry, they are just they are working totally fine. So we want to kind of unify two sources of integrations for your Saleor instance. So we currently have apps and plugins which are kind of hidden. So we want to bring it together, but there is obviously a plan to replace all plugins with apps at some point. And I think, Anya, correct me if I'm wrong, but we're gonna touch on that later, right?
Yes, we will be touching on that today. But also, I just wanted to say that there is a mentioning about that we forgot about that again. Unless we know about it, we cannot forget about it. So unless you tell us about it, we cannot take it into account. So it would be great to actually discuss it, but we didn't do it on purpose or anything like that.
Yeah, Sławek, I believe you have something more to show.
So if you have any questions about this initiative, extensions unifications, just let me know. If not, then I will move on to the second update. Okay, let's
just to answer. You can move to the next step. I'll just quickly answer. So Winchi, it's I mean, for the mean of extending apps is always the default. So where you create a webhook in Saleor, technically under the hood, that's also an app, which can be a bit confusing. This is one of the things we plan to address in this dashboard rehaul. But to answer more specifically, I think it depends on your case. So how much logic there needs to be to process that data that you need to send. Are you just sending the data to an external service that will process it and handle that, or are you like sending that to a third party and you need to format it anyway? So there is no one answer to that. So it's case by case. So if you have a specific issue, we'd love to help. So Sławek, back to you.
All right. So I hope you can see the second tab with landing.
Yeah. All good. Sławek? Ania, can you hear Sławek?
Not really.
Oh.
I mean, we are on the same internet in the same office, so if mine works, it does have to work for Sławek.
Yeah, hello. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, he's back.
Everything frozen for a moment. All right. So we are back. I was asking if you can see the landing page of Saleor Academy because I switched tabs.
Yep.
All right. So the second update is that we started a new initiative, Saleor Academy, which will provide series of workshop around digital commerce, and we are happy to announce that we are starting first iteration. We are having the first workshop next Tuesday, focusing on building digital commerce architecture. Yes, and this the workshop will have like interactive activities and team exercises.
And Sławek cut off again. Am I right? Yeah.
Yes.
We we are quite unlucky today with the video. So I think the majority of what Sławek wanted to say he did. I'll just kind of supplement it. Yeah, exactly, exactly. I'll just supplement it that this workshop is completely free. Anybody can join. You can find it on the URL that you can see in the on the screen. So it's saleor.io/academy.
Hello,
So
hello.
yeah,
Can you hear me?
yeah, Sławek, glad to have
Sorry,
you.
I don't
back.
know when I stopped.
I just
Did you hear anything?
I just jumped in
Did you hear?
and took it over from you. So I mentioned this is free workshop. Anybody can join. We have a website. Anything you would like to add?
I think that's it. I just encourage you to sign up. We have like 12 spots, but they are already like filling up. So I encourage you to sign up.
Will it be recorded? Because asking.
No, it won't.
Okay.
This will be
So
like really interactive workshop with several teams. So yeah, we want to keep it as entertaining as possible.
but there will be more of those. So if this day doesn't suit you, you
Yes,
can join the next one or the next one after
exactly.
that. All right. Thank you very much, Sławek.
Thank you.
So now we are moving to Saleor product update. I mean Saleor core update, which I am going to invite Magdalena for. Magdalena is our product owner, and she's here to talk about observability, kind of follow up what we discussed last time, and also long-awaited Saleor 3.21. Magdalena, are you here with us?
I hope I am. I mean, I'm
Yep.
excited to see what technical bug I will encounter. So there's
Yes.
that. Hi, folks. Great to be able to talk to you. My team was working for the previous weeks and months on the huge observability feature in core and also for our native apps. So I'm super excited to see if, oh yeah, we can see, can you see it? Because I wasn't able to see it previously and now it's here. Okay, so we have
More or
just
less.
this one little image, so no changing slides. Hopefully it will stay here. So I wanted to touch on 3 things to hype you a bit about upcoming 3.21 release. And I'll keep it short because we've been running for a while, so just the, short and sweet version. First thing I wanted to tell you a bit about is how it will work for cloud users, then how it will work for self-hosted users, and I think that will be exciting for most of you here to see here, but I also see a few people from our cloud customers, so cool to have you here also. And last thing I want to touch on is another awesome feature that is not observability that will be also included in 3.21.
All right.
So without further ado, Adrian, you wanted to say something?
No, I'm just hyped.
Oh, cool. Thank you. Okay, so the first thing is how it will work for Saleor Cloud. What we build, and when I say we, I'm kind of jumping the wagon because it's not me who coded it, but we brought observability into Saleor Core. It's now part of our internal code, and it will be generated from our code instead of from other tool that is observing our code. So this will be let's say, magically packed into streams of service that will be delivered to our customers, but also to our internal monitoring. So we trust this feature enough that we will depend on it with our own internal monitoring too. And the signals we want to share with our customers that will be about their specific setup and about their specific environments will be then packed to our collector and then sent to a collector that our customers will be building on their end. And you can see those two purple last steps. And this is what our customers, cloud customers, will need to build on their end. So somewhere when they can collect at the endpoint all the signals from us. And then the beautiful thing about this feature is that you can connect it to any observability tool that is okay to work with OpenTelemetry format. And we have selected OpenTelemetry format because it's the most universal one and the most widely used.
Yeah, so it says Datadog here, but it's just an example.
Yeah.
How you consume whatever we export from Hotel is up to you. We're just making sure you get it.
Yeah, and I want to point out that Patrice, our awesome CTO, just posted that he'll be happy to answer the observability questions in the Q&A. So I'll just want to give you the overview on how it will work and how we want to set it up. So for the cloud customers with 3.21 release, we have a pilot customer that we will be testing it with, while the other customers will be getting this feature with the next iteration and the next release. And now staying with this slide, jumping to the self-hosted experience, you have the same signals in core. It's still part of Saleor. So now you can set up your own collector instead of the Saleor collector that will be used by us. And then you can do just the exact same thing as a cloud customer. You can send those signals collected by our core to observability tool of your choosing. We don't limit you in any way. You can set it up whatever you want, however you want, and it will be released in 3.21. So I will come to Discord with the update when it will be released with all the details, and hopefully I will gather any feedback you will have about the feature once you start to use it. So I don't want to bore you. If you have any questions, Patrice is your man on Q&A, but if you have any, you can post it now. And about the observability, it's a huge thing for us because, as I mentioned, we will also use it. Thank you for the meme. We will use it also internally. So we're really excited, and I hope you are at least a bit hyped too. But there is also one other feature that I am super, super excited about regarding the 3.21 release. And this is something that our scalability team created, and that's sync webhook circuit breakers. So we introduced a mechanism that will temporarily shut down an app in case of high number of webhook errors. You can leave it enabled, you can turn it off, and it will be by default turned off, so no force changes will be arriving with 3.21. Until you enable it, it will work as previously. But you can also play with the settings a bit because there's also a half open setting to help you maybe introduce a cooldown for your webhooks when there is a lot of webhook errors. I will post a link to the docs just in a second in the chat so you can check it out. But this feature that I'm sure will be helpful for many of you will be also introduced in 3.21. And
Awesome.
With that, I want to let you know that we will start releasing 3.21 after the so-called long weekend in Poland. So probably around May 5th, and it will take a few days. So expect it to be live probably in the second week of May. It's not set in stone because we want to be sure we cleared everything off and have a nice problem-free release, but this is the date we're aiming for right now. And
Awesome.
with that, I think that's all for me.
Bogdana, you said there is one thing you are especially excited about, but looking at this changelog, I think anybody can have their own because there's just so many. So yeah, you have many reasons to be excited about 3.21.
I mean, I didn't say that, but
No.
this has been a huge release when many teams and many people on Saleor's end are adding small quality of life
Yeah.
improvements that are
You
making
have your
Saleor
favorite.
better under the hood. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
totally right. There's a lot of work there, and it's not just those two big features. But since I don't want to keep you guys here for another 30 minutes, I just picked two.
Of course. You picked your favorites. I'm not mad. I'm just saying, like, if you don't like these ones, then just go into our changelog, and I mean, there's all sorts of things here. So we are pretty excited, and yeah, we're looking forward to finally bring 3.21 to you. So yes,
guys.
thank you, Magdalena. Thanks. Bye. So we'll follow up with a quick update on the Stripe app development, but also context. Anya, do you want to start with the latter, the context? Like, how come we only started developing Stripe app now?
Yeah. So this is also, I wanted to touch on that because there was a question about that some time ago on Discord. And how is this even possible that an e-commerce doesn't really have Stripe as a solution? So we were investing heavily into making sure that you can build your own solutions. And in fact, many of our clients have their own payment solutions. But then we revisited this approach and we decided that we do want to fill in the blanks in the base. So we want to make sure that the basic solutions for the clients who don't want to do anything custom should be in place and should be available for everyone. So this is coming from the general the general brainstorm around modeling, delegation, which we also touch on in multiple other places, modeling, delegation, automation as three pillars of how Saleor is, how we look at Saleor and how we look at building new features around Saleor. So we are now on the Stripe up train. If I would get some money on each time anyone was asking about Stripe, I would probably already have a nice house somewhere. Somewhere warm and sunny. So yes, this is happening. If you haven't noticed, there is a Stripe up channel with updates. Łukasz was posting updates even today about the progress. So quite excited that we will have this cleaned up and we'll have people just be able to use Stripe with us.
Exactly. So if you want to be up to date with where we are in the Stripe app development, we encourage you to join. To start following the channel. Łukasz posted one update today, so if you want to know like what API we are supporting and all of that, this is the best place to start. And I think we'll be moving on to just kind of catch up on our time. So Anya, we kind of teased that we want to share how product decisions are made at Saleor. So can you give us like a dive into what are we doing here and what is this repository?
So I was writing about that recently in a few places that we started exposing product decision records. So maybe first the reasoning. So we do have situations where it's actually not clear why we are deciding to not build something in a specific way, or we have a different approach to building something. And it's also the publishing this was triggered by one of the discussions about product groups that was about customer groups that was happening on Discord recently. So what we noticed is that even if community would like to build something on top of Saleor, sometimes we have to decline the code that people are writing because it just doesn't align with the direction that we want to go. And it's obviously sad because someone has put in the work and we're like, okay, sorry, but we cannot accept it. But how do you know what is the direction? If you don't know, then you're not able to build the code according to the general direction. So this is what came out of the general thinking, is that, okay, we know how we want to approach it internally. Why not open it up? So internally, we do have like a big list of decision records, which is architecture decision records, product decision records, RFCs that are related to how code should be structured and database changes should be structured. And we sometimes also have like a decision record for how to approach a code freeze or how to approach something that's just like an internal process. So we will be opening up some of those, and I already put 3 product decision records that have already been done last year. So these have not been put out for discussion, but the next one about customer groups that I'm still intending to use, this one is going to be put out on Discord for discussions. And also, because this was a question, I'm also going to note that there is a page called Apps and Plugins state. You actually have it open, so that's great. So basically, we do keep plugins until we either have a replacement or we fold them into core. For some of the plugins, we will not continue to host them, like a very specific payment gateway that we only keep because one of our clients is using it. But the general plan is in the decision record, so I suggest you go there and check it out. And
exactly.
and also,
Just
I
like,
suggest creating a discussion if there is something that's very controversial, or yeah, let's just chat if you have anything to say about it.
we'll also announce once there is a new decision record, so we can put it for discussion. Currently, we have the decisions that were made, so apps and plugins. What are we doing about that? Then what is next for Saleor authorization, especially like external authorization? So I think we don't really have time to dive into those too much. So if you are interested in hearing about that, feel free to visit that. And we also have one about attributes versus metadata. So this is one thing is kind of something that we already added to the documentation, so like explaining what is the difference between those features, but this also gives a good point to start thinking about the future of those. So what attributes will be for and metadata will be for, how will they maybe change and all of that. So if you want to be up to speed, I recommend checking out this repository. So this concludes basically the product update block, but we have some more in plans. So next up we have community highlights. So we are very fortunate to have awesome contributions from you, and this comes in many forms. So not only changes to Saleor core or some changes to other repositories, but also you creating the ecosystem around Saleor by your own apps, your own tooling, also articles, anything like that is more than welcome. But today I wanted to kind of plug in specifically two projects. Did I mess up the order? I think I messed up the order. Okay, community highlights. You didn't see that. So I wanted to plug in two projects that were featured on our Discord. So first one is Theseus, I think, which is an importer. I'll display the GitHub pages in a moment, which is an importer. So as you may or may not know, like Saleor is not really opinionated about how you import stuff into it. So we expose the API using which you can do it, but we kind of leave it up to you. and here this repository is one example of how you can do that. So you can use it to import, for example, specifically product data, even from CSV into Saleor. It's pretty cool. I really recommend you checking it out. And then on the right we have really quite impressive and crazy initiative from DJ Kata. I'm still waiting on the pronunciation. I hope that's right. Which is his own equivalent of, it's one way of thinking about it, an equivalent of the apps monorepo that we have, only this one is written in Rust. It features Rust-based tooling, so an SDK, an app template, custom apps written by this user. So it's really amazing to see Rust getting some love. And also this is an expression of how apps are not just TypeScript or JavaScript. Apps can be built with anything. So I really recommend you checking it out. Thanks, Mickey, for sending the links. And like I said, your contributions come in other forms, which is also here on Discord. So I wanted to give kudos to I'm gonna butcher those. So Delemitor, I don't know, Paweł, and DJ Kato and Pitcast22 for your awesome help with answering questions and people's problems here on Discord. To kind of highlight that this is really silly, but we granted you the community leader role. It comes with no obligations, just very high prestige and a lot of kudos from us. We really appreciate you. That was it in terms of the community highlights. So now we are going to bring Patrice here, our CTO, to give us a little history lesson. Patrice, do I have to invite you to the stage? Okay. Hello, Patrice. Are you here with us?
Hey, hello. I'm not there with you, but I'm here.
Yes.
Hopefully you can see me.
We can.
Hi, everyone.
Okay. So we kind of wanted to, you may know what Saleor is because you are actively participating in building it. I mean, not you, Patrice. You definitely know what Saleor is. I'm talking about the community. But we think that for a thorough understanding of why Saleor is the way it is, we need to kind of roll back and go to where it all started. So we wanted to do it here with Patrice. I wanted to start by asking how come from the company that started it all, Mirumi Software, was not supposed to be working with commerce. So what went wrong? Why are we here?
That's a good question. That's literally one of the first things me and Mirek, who's here in the audience, the other co-founder of Saleor Commerce, and the founder of Mirumi Software. So one of the very first things we said to each other was that we would build amazing software, but it would not be commerce, because I've spent 15 years leading to 2009, kind of working on different commerce stacks, and I was so fed up with that. And we just took a look at the landscape of the open source software available at the time, and we figured this surely is a solved problem. Like there were so many options back then in 2009 that we thought this was not an actual problem to solve. There's surely something that works great for every situation. And boy, were we wrong.
In 2009, I was like playing in sandbox with like toy soldiers and everything. So you have to be a little bit more specific. Like what were the options? Like
I'm not trying to do,
what
I'm
was the landscape
specifically
back
not
then?
trying to point fingers, so I'm not going to name things that didn't work amazingly. Let's just say that we were quite happy with two pieces of code that we actively contributed to. One was Sachmo, which was kind of Python's de facto commerce up to 2010. Unfortunately, it was a project that was started and maintained by people who had a problem, but not necessarily a good solution to the problem. So my feeling is that the main authors of the framework kind of learned as they coded.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't have the necessary experience to make the right choices. And you could see that the plenty of things were like opinionated in a non-salvageable way, where you had to actively change the source code of the framework to work for most use cases. So we kind of looked for a way to move off of that. But as we contributed to Sachmo, we were contracted by a partner agency from London. So Tangent Labs London cooperated with us to work on their replacement for Sachmo, which was Django Oscar. And between 2000, I want to say 10 and 2013, we worked with them and contributed to what eventually became Django Oscar 1.1.0.
So
I don't remember the exact release date, but that was the other piece of code where we actively contributed to and thought, yeah, maybe we can improve it to the point where we don't need to be in a situation where we introduce yet another piece of software with its own problems and missing features and whatnot.
so you
But
you
in the
could say.
background, yeah.
So just to kind of supplement that, so right now, although Saleor is very probably proud and happy with Python, but it's not as relevant that Saleor is a Python project today because it doesn't really concern you as the end user. But what's really important to understand is that these roots of Saleor in the Python's ecosystem are really deep, right?
Well, it's mostly that back then we thought that Python was the state-of-the-art programming language that we liked the most. I think we were right about this because since then it's become the number one programming language, overcoming Java and C#, which was not a given back then. But yeah, I mean, today it could be Rust. It could be any of the languages that emerged since then. What we didn't want to use was PHP, which was the most prevalent solution in 2009, and not because we were not familiar with the language, because I think both of us spent years working with PHP before eventually switching to languages that we liked better. The
I don't think
PHP was
we'll.
so prevalent that it was just hard to find a company willing to host software written in something other than PHP. So that was the main challenge with PHP. Like moving off of PHP was near impossible for most companies that had hosting contracts written in a way where you could only host PHP software. So
Yeah, I don't think you would find many PHP defenders here in chat today.
I mean, I'm not trying to dunk immensely since then, and I think it's in a much better spot than it was. It's just that we made a bet on Python one being a good language, but also we made a bet on Python developers being available throughout the next decade or so, because using a niche language has the potential problem of finding the workforce to work in your project. So if you pick a language that only 10 people know, you better hire all of those people immediately, because otherwise you'll be striving to find employees for your company. So we bet on Python with most of our projects. I mean, JavaScript was still there because we had to run some code in browsers, but everything server side, we decided to write in Python. So this is why we looked for a Python stack for our commerce problems, and that's why we made first the bet on Satchmo, then on Django Oscar. Then eventually we started to figure out that both Satchmo and Django Oscar had really hard to accept extensibility models, where they essentially didn't limit you as much during the initial project build out, but they essentially meant that it was very hard to upgrade anything. So for Satchmo, it was just straight out forking and overriding some pieces of code, which is a major no-no in my book.
But when you had a first commit to Saleor in 2013, I think that was, as far as I know, that was still kind of the case, right? So the first Saleor was meant to be forked.
Yeah, but let's not get ahead of ourselves here. Yeah.
I want to say that we should track our time a bit, and exactly. We should get to questions in, I think, 5 minutes. We should get to questions. So you have 5 minutes to cycle through 10 years, please.
Exactly.
So, so the major problem we wanted to address was how to make those frameworks or any tools we use extendable, so you didn't have to pay both the cost of having a framework and the cost of upgrading this stack eventually. That was sometimes even harder than if you forked everything and owned the entire software stack. So what we did initially was to create Satchless, which was a play on Satchmo's name and the popular saying that less is more. So Satchless was the first attempt at creating a starter project that you would immediately fork and own in its entirety, which meant the upgrades were going to be hard, but you control the entire process. Which eventually got forked into Saleor in 2013. We just moved a lot of the code from one repository to another, made Satchless library instead of a forkable starter kit. And then
the initial
built
commit
from there.
Referenced Satchless.
Yeah. So and then we built from there, but the goal was always to tackle the problem of extensibility while keeping the problem with eventually having to upgrade stuff as an important consideration. So this is why we started to decouple things. In 2016, we adopted GraphQL as one of the first commerce stacks, which allowed us to start to work on decoupling the storefront first, and then the dashboard eventually. So by 2018, I think, 2018 was the first release of the new dashboard, which was a now separate application that communicated with Saleor entirely through the API layer. And then in, I think 2019, we completely removed everything but the API from the core. So it lost the capability of serving any templates. Like it became its own service that you could build things around instead of extending through direct modification of the source code.
How common it was back then in the e-commerce landscape? Like how prevalent was headless?
Not at all, I would say. Like, because the thing you have to understand is that it introduces complexity, because now instead of a single repository where you can edit like 2 HTML files and call it done, you now have to coordinate an API server which exposes an API, which is a contract between the client and the server. So you had to now introduce new things to the API first, then modify the client to take advantage of those. But I think eventually you figure out that it's worth it for all of the non-obvious cases, because to understand where Saleor comes from, you have to understand that Mirumi as an agency specialized in non-obvious software cases. Like it built heavily customized software for solutions where already off-the-shelf like box software just didn't exist. So we embrace open source, but we really built stuff that was like heavily tailored. And we actively seek this level of extensibility that will limit us. But we also solve the internal problems of having someone running a fork of something from 4 years ago, and now you suddenly have to upgrade them to take advantage of one of the new features, which kind of shaped the architecture to the point where it is right now. So to us, it's the headless, the composable, all of the things that add complexity are the necessary parts to enable the level of scalability, extensibility, but also to make sure that we're always able to upgrade the core without compromising, the storefronts, the integrations that people have built around Saleor, between Saleor and their internal services that we may never have even heard about. Because if you're running a custom ERP and you have some glue code running between Saleor and this, we may not even be able to test it on our end.
Yeah, exactly. So with that, you can see the process of how Saleor kind of decoupled. First with GraphQL, detaching the dashboard and the view layer. Then with Saleor 3.0 with the apps. So now we give you the tools to bring in any integration, any custom logic that you need. So it's like a quite nice journey from the era of having to fork Saleor to then the era of connecting to it, and then now we are in the extend era, or maybe we are in the automation, delegation, and modeling era, which is where we are right now.
I want to make it clear that if you don't face the same problems, like you're solving stuff for yourself, then maybe you don't see all of the benefits, and to you it's just it's a pointless compromise where you're building services upon services upon services, but there's only like 5 people visiting your website. It may not be worth it, but on the other hand, we're serving customers where using an off-the-shelf solution is just not an option at all.
Or I wish we had more time, because I have plenty of questions I wanted to ask you, but I'll leave it to the chat. So if you have any questions for Patrice about anything, but maybe also about the historical context in which we try to put Saleor in, feel free to do it. So yeah, to kind of recap, as you can see, we went from Saleor being this forkable deep in the Python ecosystem to then the GraphQL pioneer, we shall say, and now with extensibility, it doesn't really matter what tech you're using. As we just showed, you can build a full ecosystem around Saleor with Rust.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're not done. Obviously, we're going to keep improving things. One of the questions in the chat is like, are we happy with this level of complexity? And as I said, some complexity just cannot be skipped. It's part of the. It's a necessity to separate layers, for example, to kind of maintain this level of scalability and upgradability. But also we want to lower the barrier of entry for everyone. This is why we're investing heavily into the developer experience, into providing quick starts, templates for you to start with, instead of having to write everything from scratch, SDKs and so on. So we're never happy that something is complex, but we're trying to sweeten the deal, I would say. Some things have to be complex, but we can build some sugar coating around it to kind of make it easier to start, to make it easier to understand what's happening, because observability is crucial for this type of distributed architecture. Like trying to figure out what's happening with a PHP is a matter of adding to log statements. You just print something in the code and it's obvious. But if you have like 6, 7, like 10 services talking to each other, just being able to tell what's happening is a problem in itself. This is why we're also investing heavily into observability. This is why we're working on improving the webhooks experience, both in terms of reliability, but also in terms of how different applications can affect each other. One of the initiatives we're working on internally is so-called webhook fairness, but fairness really means that a single slow application should not be able to slow down other applications. So we're kind of working on decoupling a single event queue into kind of per application delivery queues, where each application can consume stuff at its own pace without slowing others down.
We can actually use it to answer the question we promised to answer during the Q&A. So the one with the bottleneck about reliably consuming Saleor's webhooks at scale. So this retries message ordering, native event filtering.
Yeah, so what we're moving towards